Alright, hi everyone. Alex from Strength Hacks here with the first edition in the quarantine vlog. Before we start, just make sure to click subscribe to follow along, like to show support, and click the bell if you wish to do so. Wishing everybody well during these times. So unfortunately, these clips are from 4 weeks ago. Due to some technical difficulties like having a busy month at work and home and only having one SD card that filled up a lot faster than I was anticipating, I was unable to get this out in a timely manner. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm going to try to improve on that in the future. I'm also going to start improving the camera angles too. I noticed some of these are pretty terrible, not really showing the action, but it's all a learning process, and this is just the first vlog, so be prepared for great things to come soon. So I'm not showing all the sets here. I did 12 sets of 3, actually 11 sets of 3. Went on a AMRAP for the last set, got about 8 reps. I was going for speed, but it wasn't really there with this thin, cheap bar that I bought from Walmart. It was a vinyl set that came with 100 pounds of plates. It was only $40, so it was a great deal, and it's been helping me maintain my gains, actually make some gains in some areas, so I'm very happy with it. And, especially if you don't have a home gym like me and you're just making do with whatever equipment you can find, it's more important than ever to think outside the box, stay positive, and stay as consistent as you've ever been in your pursuit of strength, muscle mass, or whatever other goals you're trying to achieve. And you don't have to have weights like me. You can use anything. It goes from water jugs, rocks in your yard, couch even. As long as you're pushing it hard and getting close to muscular failure, you're still going to make gains. So here's the last set of the overhead press. Finally picking up that speed I was looking for in the earlier sets. Going for an AMRAP here. And as you can see, as it gets to the end, I'm getting tired and rest pausing, but my last rep still moved pretty quickly. I'm sure I had at least 2 more in the tank, so I'm going to have to push it a little further to the limit next time. Definitely plan on getting 14, if not 15 reps at the beginning of next training cycle when I do this again. Alright, now time for some banded push-ups. These were pretty tricky as the band kept moving and shifting around from my elbows to my upper back. It was really annoying as it kept changing the tension. I recently discovered a hack from Elite FTS on how to fix this and can't wait to try it out. Right now I can't try it, unfortunately, as I'm on a deload, really trying to take it easy because the last week of training was real brutal. The workouts were taking up to 4 hours just because I was trying to get in super high amounts of volume, which is the one thing I'm finding that is really helping me make gains during this time of only being able to use lightweight, which has in turn been really upping my work capacity. So I'm excited to see what I'm going to be able to do when I get back into a full gym. Really looking forward to smashing some PRs and being able to share those with you guys. These rep PRs and stuff are cool, but lifting heavy weights is what I really love to do. So yeah, this is my last set on the banded push-up, and I decided to, add an extra band. Also go for a drop set after this one's complete. So, I took one band off, kept going. It's a great technique to use if you're ever running low on time. You can build up extra fatigue in a very short period. And then actually the last 3 weeks of the training cycle after this, I decided to do the banded push-up as my first movement for around the 6 to 8 rep range with heavier bands, just because I needed something to get a little bit more tension on my muscles. These light weights aren't cutting it. And last Monday I actually ended up getting 3 sets of 7 with 2 green bands, 2 red mini bands, and 1 orange band and 1 purple band. So, it's a nice improvement. Alright, now moving on to the barbell pendlay row up to my neck. It's a variation I came up with, just trying to get more out of less weight. Right now I'm doing 17 reps with 5 pounds more. So this session I was only getting 10 reps, so it's also a substantial improvement. I wish I had the footage of the last few weeks, but I totally underestimated what a 64 gig SD card can hold, so learned my lesson on that one. Should probably get an external hard drive too, that way I can hold more videos and have more time to process them and still be able to shoot footage. So as you can see with my progression from 10 to 17 reps with 5 pounds more on this exercise, it really goes to show that a slow and steady progression always wins the race. I try to tell people it's just like the tortoise and the hare story that everyone's heard. My friend actually introduced me to this concept when I started lifting at 14 years old. He told me that the key is to always do just a little bit more than you did last time. You can always add 5 pounds. You can always add a rep or two. Maybe not if you're a very elite lifter, but for the most of us, we can always make progress in some way, shape, or form. Alright, now I'm finishing off the back with a one arm barbell row. It's not ideal, but it's the best I can do with what I have. All my other options don't really provide enough tension for a horizontal row. Now, there is a slight back rounding here, but I have improved on that over the last few weeks. I'm now up to rowing 80 pounds with actually a fat grip on there for, I think, 14 reps I got. This is 70 pounds for 10 reps, so it goes to show, you can make gains as long as you're willing to get creative and work hard and make the most of what you have. And, it does really suck that we can't go about our usual routines, use our usual squat rack or bench or, favorite piece of equipment you had at the gym, but we can adapt and apply ourselves in this time to become comfortable with being uncomfortable and come back stronger than ever. Okay, now moving on over to the single arm knee push-up. And these might look silly, but they do give a killer tricep pump, so I highly recommend you try them out. Not all of us are gifted enough to be banging these out, making them look easy like the calisthenic pros do. My bench was 270 when I was in the gym, and I can only do one rep of a regular single arm knee push-up, just to put that into perspective. And as I was saying earlier about coming back stronger, don't take it literally, like for the big three especially. Maybe we will build some mental toughness, especially if you keep a good mindset, but really use this time to focus on hypertrophy and work capacity. And I feel like once you get back to handling heavy loads, it's going to help a lot as in terms of increasing your strength potential. It's common sense basically. A guy with more muscle has the potential to lift more weight. He's just got to get that nervous system exposed and ready to handle those heavy loads proficiently. And now I'm supersetting those one arm push-ups with my modification of Athlete Nexus Cobra push-up. I usually don't do fluff stuff like this, but I'm just trying to build my muscles up as big as I can, so that way when I can get back into the gym, that bench is going to be flying through the roof from the new mass on my triceps. Looking forward to getting back in the gym big time, It's starting to have withdrawals. And then after the tricep work, I went into the garage for some pull-ups. As you can see, I got the homemade setup using a thick metal bar, an extension cord, and a toe strap, hanging it all from the frame of my garage ceiling. And it was working pretty well until the extension cord stretched. Now I have an unlevel pull-up bar. It is pretty annoying, but I've gotten around it by either doing half the reps on one side, half the reps the other side, or I'll just alternate sides each set. This day I was getting sets of 5, now I'm getting sets of 8, and I recently started doing these with a backpack on, so it's been pretty interesting. Then afterwards I moved on to the floor Skullcrusher. Didn't really like these actually. They put a lot of pressure on my elbow, so I took them out after this week. And thanks to my client Tom, I actually have a bench now that I can do normal skull crushers with, and that's going great, so very thankful for him. And I'm actually doing more weight now with more reps on the full skull crusher than I am here on this partial skull crusher, so I'm really excited to see where my strength levels are when I get back in the gym. This hypertrophy work's been paying off. I've been adding weight and reps to all my exercises. And I was starting to get low on time, especially around this part of the workout. These workouts are not short with all this volume. I'm only showing you guys a fraction of the sets that I do. Towards the end of my training block, the workouts were getting near 4 hours, so this deload week has been amazing, and I can't wait to come back and crush it for another 4-week cycle. But anyways, due to being low on time, I decided to do a tricep. So I stripped some weight off and did drag curls. And then after that, I added weight and did barbell curls. And it was an intense workout. My arms were pumped for the rest of the night and into the next day. And I usually don't promote supersets and triceps, and I occasionally will promote the drop set if it's a good technique if you're running on time, but I always say performance comes first, and 3-minute rest sets is scientifically proven to be able to produce the most performance in each set. And by performance, I mean weight and reps. So you can't go wrong with those two factors because they tend to produce the highest amounts of training volume. It's just a matter of time. You know, not everybody has the luxury to train for 3 to 4 hours. I barely get away with it, and honestly, got to try to reduce that to get some balance in other parts of my life. If I did have access to a full gym, I'd be able to use heavier weights and not have to do such high volume, so the workouts would be shorter. But in this scenario, I really have no other choice. I got to get the volume in somehow, and I'm not willing to regress. I'm trying to grow. This is the whole point of this hypertrophy phase that I'm running. And sometimes, no matter how much of a pain it is, you just got to do whatever it takes to get your goal accomplished. No ifs, ands, or buts. And now that all the harder movements are done, I'm doing some easy stuff to just finish it off and get a good pump. Doing the face pull, and I know it's a horrible angle, but I did get 28 reps using 2 purple bands. They're supposed to be about 10 pounds each. And now I'm using an orange band, which is advertised at 50 pounds, plus one of those 10-pound purple bags and bands, and I'm getting about 23 reps. So it's great progress in my book. I feel like my face pull is stronger than ever. It really shows too when I'm watching my new footage. I just got a new SD card the other day, so I'm finally going to be able to put up some new content so you guys can compare and see my progress. And I can definitely see it, so it's going to be interesting to see if you guys can as well. I'm not sure to attribute it to either this or the all-time PRs I've been setting on the upright row. I'm sure it's a combination of both of the movements. So after the face pulls were done, I decided to wrap up my upper body training for the day with the single arm banded lateral raise, and I actually really like this movement. I feel like it might be my new favorite over the dumbbell version. I feel like these are less fatiguing for my nervous system just due to the light resistance at the bottom, but then the high resistance at the top really provides a great contraction, squeeze, and pump. So this means that this exercise compared to the dumbbell version has a better stimulus to fatigue ratio, which is very important for a natural lifter like myself. It's important for us to pick exercises with good stimulus to fatigue ratios because that allows us to get the most training volume in while still being able to recover. And you can only grow as much as you can recover, so take heed of my advice. Do good mornings, do things that allow you to get the most out of the least amount of weight. And another point with those banded lateral raises is the overspeed eccentrics from the bands. And I feel like the overspeed eccentrics and muscle damage caused from those is really blowing up my delts. And then finishing off with the single leg calf raise, I'm using books stacked in order to give a full range of motion through my ankle and making sure to pause at the bottom to make the calf muscle do the work instead of just relying on momentum or the stretch reflex from the Achilles tendon. So coming to a conclusion here, just remember everyone to stay strong. We need to inspire and help others during this tough time. Positivity is going to be the only way to make it out sane. And thanks again for watching. I appreciate everyone that stuck around to the end of the video. So anyone that has, I want to give them a gift. It's important to give back, which is why I'm going to be offering 3 free coaching slots for 6 weeks. The first 2 are going to go to the first 2 subscribers that I see mention this in the comment section. And then the last one is going to go to the first person to give me a DM on IG. The name is the same as my YouTube channel. So I hope this video has been helpful. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and have a great day.